What a fight. Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga. What a fight. Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Never, ever, ever, ever lets you down. What a fight that was. I mean, Edgar Berlanga showing that he belongs at the top. He belongs with the big boys in that 168-pound division. Canelo does what Canelo does. Excites the fans. Showmanship. I loved that fight, man. I had everything in it. I had knockdowns, high output, chirping by both fighters, the little bit of dirty tactics, and I liked it, man. The fight was exciting. Canelo is just you talk about the face of boxing, right? And it is that sort of 24-hour news cycle. Who is the face of boxing? If Gervonta Davis was to fight next weekend, he'll be the face of boxing. If Terence Crawford was to fight the following week, he'll be the face of boxing. It's just that immediate reaction to that win from that fighter. And Canelo, you can argue he is the face of boxing because he puts bombs on seats. I mean, look at the weigh-in, the crowd he mustered up for that weigh-in presentation. Then the fight itself, he went up against the UFC's first event in the Sphere. And I thought it was a better show. I think the fights on the Canelo undercard with the Lara and Garcia and McCumbee and Plant and Canelo Berlanga was way better than the UFC fights. I mean, I know you talk about, there's always talk about UFC, MMA and boxing and stuff like that, and boxing isn't if you were in a real fight, you're going to be like, we're not talking about real fights, right? We're talking about a sport. And boxing for me, I watched a little bit of the UFC, and I appreciate wrestling and I appreciate jiu-jitsu. I really do. I've done a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and I appreciate the art form it does, but it's not very entertaining for the fans if there's not much going on, if you don't understand it. I like the stand-up side of things, right? So I like stand-up fighters, whether it be Sean O'Malley, who likes to stand up and throw punches. You've got Max Holloway. Do you know what I mean? These guys, Justin Gaethje, they're my favourite type of fighters when it comes to the UFC because they stand up and trade, and I like the striking, the stand up side of things rather than the takedowns and the holding and stuff like that. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I do, by the way, don't get me wrong, I do watch the UFC and I do like the UFC, right? I watch it all the time. I just like boxing better. So Canelo, back to Canelo. Yeah, he does what Canelo does. But what we say about Canelo, right? His last four opponents in Ryder, Charlo, Munguia, and now Berlanga, he's dropped them all four of them, but hasn't got the finish. His last finish was Plant back in 2021. I was lucky enough to be at that fight, believe it or not, which was probably my last time in Vegas. That was the last time I was in Vegas. But he hasn't got the finish. So you're almost thinking to yourself, does he lack that killer instinct now? Does he lack that little bit more as he's getting older to finish someday? I don't know. He is still a small super middleweight. Let's not get that wrong. He's only 5'8". He's fighting guys taller than him, probably going to the ring a lot heavier than him, maybe an extra 10 pounds heavier than him. So Canelo is just the face of boxing right now. Just the money he generates, the people, the fans he generates. He's just a. I mean, pound for pound, it's just Canelo, Usyk, and you're probably talking Canelo, Usyk, Nui, and Crawford right now, in terms of who's the number one. I wouldn't put Canelo there, maybe not as number one. You'd probably put maybe the Usyks and the Crawfords and the Nuis. But Canelo is the face of boxing in terms of what he does, the marketing side of things, and the fights he produces. Because he's never in a boring fight. Let's be honest. He always gives the fans value for money. But then this begs the question: if you go down a couple of videos, I said who's left for. I made a video who's left for Canelo at 168. And there's not many. Probably nobody left at 168. There isn't anybody left at 168 for Canelo to fight. But there's three names that can make 168 or go up or come down to 168, and that's Benavidez, Crawford, and the Bivol rematch. I'll start with Benavidez. Canelo has said, I think he said something. Don't quote me on this, but I think he said he's better than him, and he's not really said no at the fight, but he said pay me well, because he said he's going to be giving up £25 when it comes to the fight. So he's going to be giving up a lot when he comes into fights Benavidez, because there's been a lot made of Benavidez being a weight bully, draining himself and coming in the ring 15-20 pounds heavier than his opponent. So Canelo hasn't dismissed that fight. He hasn't. And there's talks of maybe it happening in Saudi Arabia. Canelo said, pay me well. If you want me to fight Benavidez, pay me. And if anyone can pay him well, it's definitely Turki Al-Sheikh out in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season. So, and it's the fight that fans have been wanting for 3-4 years maybe. And it's got that the build up will be insane because these two men do not like each other. It's shown with the back and forth between the two of them in recent interviews and past interviews and whatnot. So that's a fight there. The Terence Crawford fight. Terence Crawford was there last night. I seen his sort of like tweet he put out saying, "Put me in the game, coach," and he walked towards the ring. Canelo, I was asked about that post-fight press conference about the Crawford fight. He said no comment. But for is that just a leap too far for Crawford? I mean, the Madrimov fight showed that 154 is a lot. The guys Madrimov showed that if you match him for a little bit of footwork, match Crawford with a little bit of IQ, and then you've got the size on top of that, then it's a tough night's work for Crawford. Although he did get the win against Madrimov, and Crawford could easily clean up that right now because that 154-pound division is there for the taking for Crawford. He can become undisputed in there, not a problem. He could probably make 160 and go up to 160 and do a little bit in there as well. But is going up to 168 to fight Canelo a step too far? Every elite fighter, legend, modern great, past great that have came unstuck has been when they've stepped up that little bit too far, gone up the divisions too much and fought a guy that's just a little bit too big for them. So I would say that Crawford fight, I want to see it. Don't get me wrong, I want to see it, but can Crawford hurt Canelo? Nah, I don't think so. But can Canelo hurt Crawford? 100% he can if he lands. I don't think Crawford's been anyone that hits as hard as Canelo. But then again, we've seen the video with Turki Al-Sheikh and Crawford as well, calling out Canelo after the fight in the Sphere, I think it was, at the UFC event. And then you got the Bivol rematch. Win, lose or draw against Benavidez, I think Canelo wants that fight. But would he welcome a fight with Benavidez? I mean, that for boxing fans, Benavidez Canelo, is blood, guts, cuts, knockdowns. That will be a war because Canelo, the two of them like to come forward. The two Benavidez and Canelo is just two asteroids colliding with these two trains coming boom on the same track, coming head to head. That will be an interesting fight. But Canelo's made it clear that he wants the Bivol rematch. He wasn't 100% in that in the build up to that first fight, and he knows he's a better fighter than Bivol, and he knows he can beat Bivol. But looking Conor McGregor, I think he's mentioned a Conor McGregor fight. Who knows? But I'm not going to entertain that one. Conor McGregor fight. Conor McGregor's not even fought in the UFC for a long time, so I'm not going to entertain that. But there's only three fights out there for Canelo. Really, if I've missed one, let me know in the comments. If I've missed a fight, let me know. But there's 3 fights for Canelo, and it's only Benavidez, Crawford, and maybe the Benavidez winner. Let me know what you think. But last night was a great fight. Loved every second of it. Edgar Berlanga, well done, young man. You proved that you belong at that level. Canelo, can't wait to watch you fight again in May. My man, you're entertaining. Edgar Berlanga's entertaining. You put on an absolute war and a great fight for the fans. Congratulations. But let me know. You know what to do. Leave a comment. Let's engage. I'll comment back if I see the comments. Boom. Oh, somebody come through my door there. Not yet. Listen, engage. Leave a comment. Let me know.